The lips of wisdom are sealed, except to the ears of understanding. So saith the Kybalion of Hermetic philosophy. I'm Wimsaur, and today I would like to talk to you about Hermetic philosophy, as taught in the Kybalion by 3 initiates. This has been the most influential book of my life, and I'd like to share some of its principles with you. A little history. Hermetic philosophy is credited to the sage Hermes Trismegistus, or the thrice great Hermes, also called Thoth, Tahuti, and Mercury, which you may recognize those as all gods of Egypt, of Rome, and Hermes of ancient Greece. Though the actual character Hermes is said to have been far distant to even ancient Egypt. Hermetic philosophy, which is the cornerstone of all alchemy, astrology, magic, and transcendental psychology, can be summed up in 7 principles. As quoted in the Kybalion, the principles of truth are 7. He who knows these truths understandingly possesses the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. And once you start to understand these principles, you'll start to understand that the temple is you. The 7 principles are mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. The first of these principles, mentalism, as quoted in the Kybalion, the all is mind, the universe is mental. What does that mean? Well, first off, it speaks of the all. The all is all that there is, all that there was, all that there ever can be, and all that never can be. In short, the totality of everything, real and imaginary. More on the all later, but suffice it to say, the all is mind, describes every last thing, real or not real, is truly mind, right on down to the smallest atom, to the largest star, is all mind. We'll go into detail on these later, but for now, I'll go on to the second principle, the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. This means that we can use the laws of the lower to describe the laws of the higher. Every law in nature that is described by physics, for instance, we can describe both to the material world, to the mental world, and to the spiritual world, and all worlds in between. For an example of this, take some of Newton's laws, such as for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. If I give a push on an object, it'll keep going until stopped by something else. In mind, if I have a habit, I will still act according to that habit until I stop that habit. Principle 3, vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. I can remember, I believe it was back in 6th grade, where they described the motion of atoms. how they vibrate, how the electrons would circle the actual protons, so that even something solid is truly vibrating, is truly at motion, if only on the subatomic level. Principle 4. Polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pairs of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Where does hot become cold on a thermometer? It is only a matter of degree. What is hot for me is cold for a star. What is cold for me may be just right for bacteria. What is good and what is bad? These things are different for me than they are for others, though there may be some things that may be universally accepted. Principle 5. Rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. I can illustrate this with a very pendulum, as is said in the Kybalion. That's something you can experience for your very self. It is very true that there is rhythm in everything. Look at the changes of the seasons, for instance. That too will be described in its own video. Principle 6. The principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. It's possible you may already grasp this already. But if I take a match, light it, the cause of that igniting of the flame was me lighting the match. Also, there's a chemical combustion happening as well, which is another part of the cause to that flame. Then, when I take the flame to a piece of paper, I cause that to burn and to catch on fire. Lastly, the principle of gender. Principle 7. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. Let's go into the obvious. In our species, we have male and females. In our minds, however, we also have a male and a female component. You may hear this is described as right brain and left brain. But this isn't just in our species. And even in atoms, we have the positive or masculine proton and the negative or feminine electron. Now when I say positive and negative, I'm not making judgment calls. The positive force is simply direction, or something to direct. The feminine or negative force is actually what gives form. I will be having a video for each and every one of these, but I'll let you start with those ones. Thank you. I am Wimsaur of Wimsaur.com.